Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
For the first time in about a year, people are starting to talk about returning to normal. What will it take? How do we do it safely? And where do we draw the line? COVID-19 specialist Amanda Decker looks at the changes being made in restrictions across Chemung County.
The FDA says Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine meets all the requirements to receive emergency use authorization. Now, today's announcement does not necessarily mean the shots have been approved for public use just yet, but that designation could be just days away. There are a few factors that set this shot apart from the other vaccines currently on the market. The main difference is the J&J vaccine is a single-dose shot instead of the 2 shots required with Pfizer and Moderna. It's also about 70% effective at preventing severe COVID-19 infections for the first 14 days after vaccination and about 66% effective at 28 days after receiving the shot. Although those rates are not as high as the Pfizer and Moderna shots, they currently do not require boosters to protect against those variants. As for when we may actually see the drug get official approval, the advisory committee plans to meet Friday, then make a final recommendation. Once that happens, that could help speed up vaccination distribution across the country. Just this week, the Biden administration announced states will receive 14.5 million doses each week. That's up from the current 8.6 million a week being shipped to states now. Pfizer and Moderna say they expect to have delivered around 220 million doses by the end of next month. And pending FDA approval, Johnson & Johnson believes that its shot will start shipping out in the next day or two after that approval is granted. I'm COVID-19 specialist Amanda Decker reporting.
This week, the U.S. marked a grim milestone, more than 500,000 deaths due to COVID-19. This as health experts project new variants may fuel a spring surge. And the federal government says it's doing what it can with talk of mailing masks to help limit the spread and working to pass a COVID-19 relief bill. But as Britt Conway reports, medical experts say what happens next is up to us.
I wake up every day to get through the day. Everything is just, I have to get through this day. Don't worry about the next one. I blame myself. David blames himself. The doctor blamed himself.
Gigi Morse died from COVID-19. She was 6 years old, one of the more than 500,000 lives lost since the pandemic began. Still, experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci are cautiously optimistic.
The infections per day are going down.
But there are fears of another surge. A new report from the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy warns a more contagious variant could spike cases beginning in March. And the report suggests speeding up the vaccinations by skipping second doses for now. It's also crucial to practice safety measures we know work, like social distancing and wearing masks. President Joe Biden says the government will probably start sending out masks in the mail.
We can't pull back on that and get complacent.
Complacency is what Houston doctor Joseph Veron worries about too.
This is COVID. This is what COVID looks inside the lung.
He's worked every day for almost a year now.
I'm exhausted, I'm tired. It's day in and day out.
In the meantime, lawmakers are trying to come to some kind of agreement on a COVID-19 relief bill, with news from the House Majority Leader that they plan to vote on the $1.9 trillion plan Friday. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Mansfield University announced the Office of Admissions will allow in-person visits for prospective students and families. Students will be allowed to bring 4 guests to their on-campus tour and will be required to follow all COVID safety guidelines. Campus visits are available Monday through Friday. However, reservations will be required in advance. Tonight, teachers in New York aren't happy with the federal government's decision to still require standardized tests this school year. As Big Fox News' Matt Kleindienst reports, the U.S. Department of Education is allowing some flexibility, but the state teachers union says that's not good enough.
That's right. Good evening. I spoke with the vice president of the New York State United Teachers, who says pressing forward with standardized testing would be difficult on students who have not had standardized education this school year.
It makes no sense to us, to be honest.
Jolene DeBrango expressed frustration over the Department of Education's ruling to continue standardized tests in the state. For over a month, the New York State United Teachers have been advocating to cancel standardized tests for the second consecutive school year. They argue it's difficult to properly assess student progress during an abnormal school year.
When you have students learning in 3 different modes across New York State, It just seems like it's not the best use of our time. It's certainly not what our students need.
New York must now test students in grades 3 through 8, as well as high school students. The U.S. Department of Education did say exams could be delayed. However, DeBrango argues that will create more problems.
The federal government gave such broad flexibility in how these are administered that it will create an unequal playing field for everyone. They went as far as to say that you could administer these tests in the fall to the students to measure how they were doing this school year, and you would have that summer gap in between. And so it is not clear how administering these tests in a different way would actually make them more valid.
DeBrango says efforts should be made to support students academically and emotionally through the rest of the pandemic.
Anything that diverts our attention away from that really isn't in the best interest of the students.
Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The power is back on for most Texans following last week's deadly winter freeze, but supplies are still hard to get for some people. Officials teaming up with the Houston Food Bank today to hand out food and water. Millions of Texas residents remain under boil water notices after freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall caused power outages and burst pipes across the state. More than 4 million customers lost power during the winter weather. Texas lawmakers are expected to hold hearings Thursday over the outages. President Joe Biden will visit Texas on Friday. He'll meet with local leaders to discuss the ongoing storm recovery. President Biden also plans to visit a COVID-19 health center where vaccines are being distributed. A Missouri dad is furious after he says a daycare left his 3-year-old daughter outside in freezing temperatures. And now he's turning to state officials for answers. Robert Townsend reports.
Rage, anger, sadness, hurt.
That's how Matt Bishop is feeling. It's after he says on Friday afternoon his 3-year-old daughter, Avery Rose, was left outside First Steps Daycare in Farmington in below freezing temperatures for about 15 minutes.
I feel guilty that I trusted him with my little girl.
Bishop says a parent was driving away from the daycare when she saw his daughter standing alone on the center side porch. The woman took this cell phone picture of the little girl. The mom declined to talk to us and asked us to not disclose her name.
A staff member let her in. She said, "There's a little girl locked outside in the cold, no jacket on. She's sitting there crying." They're like, "What are you talking about?" They had no clue. Then they rush over and unlock the door and let her in.
Holding back tears, Bishop calls the parent his daughter's lifesaver.
Had it not been, like I said, for that parent and God putting her there to where she could pay close enough attention, our daughter wouldn't be here today.
The disappointed dad says an hour later, the daycare's director called his wife.
They apologized by saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This is terrible."
Bishop has since filed a report with Farmington police and removed his daughter from the daycare.
How could a child walk out? How do you know that they're not missing?
A federal judge in Texas blocked the Biden administration's 100-day moratorium on deportations Tuesday. Judge Drew Tipton first issued a restraining order on the moratorium last month. That temporary block was set to expire Tuesday, and Tipton made it permanent. Though he said he was reluctant to issue an injunction on a national scale, the decision is binding across the country. It prohibits enforcement of the policies President Joe Biden laid out in his January executive order, instructing ICE not to deport undocumented immigrants for 100 days. Tipton's decision stands pending a final resolution of the merits of the case or until another federal court in the Southern District of Texas or higher rules otherwise. As we continue to honor Black History Month, we're taking a look at how an NAACP branch in Jackson, Tennessee broke down racial barriers and continues to fight against racial inequality. Jacinta Render has the story.
The NAACP plays a huge role in the fight against racial discrimination. With over 2,000 branches in the U.S., including one here in Jackson, the organization has broken down many barriers for equality. The NAACP was founded in 1909 by Black and white activists in response to the ongoing violence against Black people. It is the oldest civil rights organization, and a branch was started in Jackson over 80 years ago.
Over the years, we've gotten involved with public education. We've helped integrate the police departments.
When the industrial plants came to West Tennessee, the NAACP made sure Black people were hired.
We've opened up plants, and when new ones came in, we made sure that hiring practices was where they needed to be.
And there was another community leader who made sure people of all races had jobs. R.L. Buddy Patey, a graduate of Union University and Tennessee Football Hall of Famer. As former director of human resources for Milan Army Ammunition Plant, he advocated for equal hiring practices.
It happened because I believed in equal rights for all people of all colors should have equal rights, equal jobs, equal opportunities, and we wanted to ensure that that would be done.
Patey is a supporter of the NAACP and worked to integrate a school in 1961. According to Patey, that day was kept a secret.
But we kept it a secret, and it poured down rain that morning. The word didn't get out, and that's a tribute to the good Lord that the word didn't get out that we were going to integrate the schools.
And as the word didn't get out, Patey says it was a smooth transition.
And we integrated with those 3 African-American students at Tigrick Middle School.
The NAACP continues to fight against racial inequality in areas such as voting, education, and employment. Carter says the organization was always involved in the civil rights progression in Jackson.
And for everything that is happening that's here in terms of civil rights, I guarantee you that Jackson, Madison County, State Conference, National NAACP had something to do with it.
Jacinta Render, Big Fox News.
Celebrating Black History Month is brought to you by Corning Community College.
Still ahead tonight, golf legend Tiger Woods recovering from a serious auto accident in the Los Angeles area. The big question on everyone's mind now, will the 5-time Masters champion be able to play again? The latest on Tiger's road to recovery coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. A big warm up today with highs in the 50s. Could you believe it? It's February, and we actually saw temperatures that were about 20 degrees above normal. Today, it was about 12 degrees warmer than yesterday in Elmira, in Corning, about 13 in Bath, about 11 degrees warmer as well as in Watkins Glen. We are going to see, though, colder air start to move in tomorrow, so we have to say goodbye to that nice weather. As we head into your Friday, a cold front will be pushing in. It's going to be pushing in tonight, and that will result in breezy conditions tomorrow, and it's going to be a cold wind, and so that's going to leave us with temperatures that will be closer to normal. This comes as high pressure builds in. We're going to be on the east side of this high, and so we're going to be on the colder side, unfortunately, but after tomorrow, it looks like temperatures will start to warm up again. So if you're looking forward to those warmer days, we have a little bit more, or at least a little bit warmer conditions for the weekend. So that's something to look forward to. But for tomorrow, we are expecting some clearing. So there will be a little bit of sunshine, even though those temperatures will stay quite cold. Readings will be around 30 degrees at 7 o'clock. It will feel like 25 because of the brisk winds. And then highs tomorrow only in the upper 30s for most of us. But again, those temperatures will feel just a few degrees cooler just because there is going to be a little bit of a breeze. But again, we are going to see some sunshine during the day, and that's going to help things out. So our future radar is showing not a lot going on tonight or even into tomorrow. However, there could be a few flurries up to our northeast, but that's pretty much it. It doesn't look like our viewing area will really see much of anything through the evening on Friday. But then we have another storm system coming our way on Saturday. We're going to start off with some cloud cover at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and notice the purple and the fuchsia that's showing up. That's a wintry mix that will be moving into our area by the middle of the morning, but then switching over to rain as warmer air starts to move in. And so the good news is we are going to see that warm up, so most of the precipitation will be falling as rain. So that's good news there. But unfortunately, that also comes with wet weather, so we have to deal with that. So we do have another round of rain coming our way. This low will start to push into the Great Lakes region. We are going to see a wintry mix as we start off the day, switching over to rain as we will be in the warm side of this system. So we are expecting those temperatures to warm up after this cold snap tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to drop down to below freezing, 30 degrees in Elmira, 31 degrees in Corning. A few isolated snow showers could be possible. Highs tomorrow around 39 degrees in Corning, 38 degrees in Elmira. And here's our warming trend. Highs around 42 degrees on Friday, and then close to around 50 degrees as we head into the weekend. But again, we do have chances of rain on Saturday.
Tiger Woods is responsive and alert following emergency surgery on Tuesday. The legendary golfer was involved in a terrifying single vehicle accident that saw his car flip, and he had to be cut and pried out of the vehicle. Camila Bernal is in Torrance, California with the latest.
Golf legend Tiger Woods is recovering from surgery Wednesday following a major car accident on Tuesday. The hospital says Woods suffered compound fractures to both bones in his lower right leg, as well as muscle and soft tissue damage. The big question, will the five-time Masters champion, who was already recovering from his 5th back surgery, be able to play again?
There's a chance there could be another fairy tale ending, given this guy's amazing ability to rehab.
Woods was traveling down a steep, winding road near Los Angeles when his SUV crossed the median and flipped over, landing in the bush on the other side of the road. The sheriff said there were no skid marks and no evidence of impairment. Residents say the hill is known to be dangerous.
It's easy to, without trying, to pick up more and more speed.
Authorities say Woods was conscious and still in his seatbelt, even trying to pull himself out of the car. Woods was in town hosting a golf tournament and filming a show teaching celebrities to golf for Golf Digest and Golf TV.
I say the GOAT, he's not comfortable with it, but that opportunity to come out here with this guy right here, man. Tiger, thank you for teaching me something.
From Afghanistan to a Florida aquarium. A military father who was deployed overseas traveled a long way to surprise his daughter, and their emotional reunion was caught on camera. Julie Salamone has the sweet surprise.
Special Agent Jerry Dalrymple surprises his daughter Catherine, who is an intern at Clearwater Marine Aquarium.
A big round of applause for all of our military.
Catherine's father deployed in March 2020 at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. His family was not expecting him home for at least another month.
Well, I got to come home a few weeks early from Afghanistan, and we snuck in to surprise our daughter.
The aquarium arranged the surprise last week. The dolphins jumped in on the celebration too.
I actually get to see you. You're here. My comfort system's back, and honestly, it was amazing and just super relieving just to be able to see him again.
Catherine's family lives in Atlanta, where her father is based. The pandemic squashed opportunities she had at aquariums in Georgia, so she moved more than 500 miles away to Florida. She took an internship with Clearwater Marine Aquarium in July and hopes to one day become an animal care specialist.
My dad and I are very close, so he is a big support system for me. So at that point when he left, it was kind of like, all this stuff is going crazy and like he's gone now too. And then it adds on to the extra fear of like, not only are you in a combat zone, but there's a pandemic.
Catherine says the pandemic causes so much uncertainty, but she hopes videos like hers spark hope.
That realization moment of like, our family's family, and that's going to be the most important thing at the end of the day.
While in jail, some inmates get really good at chess, and now they're putting that skill to the test. More than 100 inmates at the St. Louis County Justice Center are playing in the jail's first chess tournament. Steve Harris has that story.
On the 4th floor of the St. Louis County Justice Center, there's a battle taking place, a board battle between inmates, played out with chess pieces.
These guys, they good. That's what they do.
106 players signed up for the inmate chess tournament.
There's some good players in there.
As Justice watched. That's Justice Williams. He became the youngest African-American chess master in history at the age of 12. Today, he's overseeing the tournament he helped make happen.
We're trying to bring more faces into chess. So we got to get into the underrepresented communities in the jail. I mean, I haven't really heard of any chess-related activities within the jail, really. And as soon as I did, I was like, all right, we got to do this here.
2 floors up, 3 more matches. Every meticulous move mindfully motivated.
It's beautiful. Like, there's a lot of great players in here. Some people they just move so confidently, like they've been playing all their lives.
But it's more than just a chess tournament.
What we really trying to do is get these guys to journal how chess is helping them while in here.
Mario Reed is a correction officer who sees the benefits this brings.
It keeps them calm and give them something to look forward to. You know, that's motivation. You know, keep their mind just occupied on something positive. That's what it does for them. I think that's why this program is really important here.
The tournament's champion will play against Justice.
So the winner of all this, y'all gonna have to play this man right here.
But regardless of the outcome,
just being able to talk chess, talk life, talk anything, talk ideas with them is pretty cool.
If you or a loved one is feeling isolated, a brief phone call could really make a difference. A new study shows talking to an empathetic listener for 10 minutes a few times a week lowers feelings of loneliness by 20%. The study shows an even bigger decrease for anxiety and depression, 30%. The artwork on walls in coffee shops is usually done by professionals, but one Colorado cafe has a wall dedicated to someone who isn't that big yet. Here's reporter Katie Eastman.
For a 4-year-old growing up in a pandemic, life looks a lot like this.
Hundreds, at least.
Hundreds of walks, sometimes runs, when Alice Calvert sees a camera coming. Alice is used to being on the other side of the lens. Her parents got her a camera when she was 3.
And then she took to it so much that we got her a normal digital camera.
And she just kept taking pictures, a perspective of the pandemic, often at the level of other people's knees.
I think it'll be really cool to be able to look back, even on the pictures that can be a little bit embarrassing at times, right?
Of the more than 3,000 photos she's taken in a year, the best are displayed at the French Press coffee shop in Congress Park. The show is called Alice in COVID Land.
They're very cute.
Some are in focus, others, who knows? But that's the beauty of it.
Hey, there's a rainbow flag.
Yeah.
She clicks when she feels moved.
Woo, rainbowy.
And moves on quite quickly.
Take pictures of Sphinx.
In this era of everything is polished and everything is looked at and kind of curated before it's put online and all this other stuff, it's she just takes a picture how she sees it and puts down the camera and forgets that she even did it, right?
Years from now, Alice might not remember how this year looked to her. So her pictures will tell the story she can't.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Canadian students at a school in Winnipeg worked together to build an epic snow fort. Their teacher said usually the students build sculptures in the winter, but the class wanted to step it up this year. They designed the snow fort themselves, complete with ice tables and chairs. Then, for 4 days, students took turns filling and hauling toboggans with snow, while other students piled the snow higher and higher. It ended up 36 feet long and more than 7 feet high. Now, hopefully the snow fort won't melt on them too quickly. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.